Then I guess I'll just take it from here then. So, oh, okay, my screen just kind of turned on and off. Anyways, um, last session, I believe, was after you had all defeated Kilgore. You were all victorious in your effort to save the town as you stand there, mostly all grievously wounded to some extent, not fatally, but suffering from slashes, burns, and the likes. You were all trying to compose yourself as you were investigating the room as Zenrot disappeared mysteriously. Uh, After which the group all decided to investigate the rest of this area, hopefully to find her, thinking this some kind of trap music, some kind of magic trap that had been sprung. I believe Acteza was the main one leading up this investigation, like usual, as she the searched through this war room. She couldn't find anything of note. As she went down one of the hallways, she found a treasury room actually, where it looks like most of their supplies and gold was. I believe she'd found a total of 1,000 gold, as well as a prisoner uh, by the name of Bazelk, who has now joined the party. Uh, and we'll get to like how everybody looks or how you look and everything when everybody meets back up. Um, After successfully freeing Bazelk from the cage using the keys on Kilgore's body, the group gathered up what gold was lying around before continuing their investigation of the dungeon. They came across a giant spider who they had actually come across before, but they came across this nest at this point. With no orders given, the spider curiously looked at the group, almost ready to attack, but waiting to see if they were hostile. With the help of Bazelk, the group was able to, in a what you can tell, befriend the spider, and the group has now obtained not only two wargs, but also a giant spider in the shard, which I believe none of them were named, if I remember right. Um, it was about at this time that Zenrot reappeared uh, in front of the group after about an hour and a half to 2 hours had passed, uh, talking about some weird strangers she had met. Uh, it, Continuing on, the party came across a training room where they had taken all the supplies out of the room using the kobolds to the shard. So now the shard had attained some training dummies and like archery targets and the likes.
At a poker
Uh, the
table.
con- Yeah, and eventually the party found a poker room where they took a poker table, some playing cards, as well as a handful more gold that the kobolds actually kind of pocketed themselves. Um, it was at this point that they also came across a mage's room, which didn't really have anything that caught the party's eye. But after which the party then made their escape from the stronghold, passing no more resistance on their way out. It seemed as if the party had just eviscerated this entire stronghold after gaining some kind of power up or something. As the party left the stronghold, they made their way back outside of the town with the plan to head back to Oman to not only turn in these quests, but to do a little shopping. On their way back to Oman, I believe Zenrot took off Mach 10 style and Rela started plummeting out of the air at least 60 to 100 feet high, but luckily was saved before hitting the ground. As the party made their way towards Amman, traveling the 2 week journey, they came across a large abundance of caravans, of just carriages leaving the city. It seems some of them were smuggling tieflings out of Amman. The party eventually was able to get somebody to talk to them, and the information they found out that was Amon's king was recently had recently died due to some mysterious illness, and that the uh, the king's sister took over as queen of Oman, a Miss Zayla Lacroix. Learning of this news, they remembered hearing this name before. Or at least I believe they remember hearing this name before from Sakira, being the one that owned Sakira before she freed herself. It was at this point that they were told that there's a rebellion going on in Oman. And at that point, this is about the time Rela received a message from her spy network telling her that they were responsible at taking at the front of this rebellion, as she was also sent to investigate this kingdom for nefarious deeds against the realm. The party then continued on their way to Oman, eventually reaching the capital city. And at the front gate, they were met with a pretty gruesome sight. There seemed to be a group of 5 to 6 tieflings, all hung by their innards, just in front of the gate on some scaffolding. Sakira was not here at this point. She was still recuperating inside the shard, but the party pressed on, just lucky, thinking luckily that Sakira wasn't here because she probably would have lost her mind. Seeing that the tieflings are being just now mutilated publicly, the guards did try to stop the group, but Zenrot surprisingly transformed into what looked to be a noblewoman in her
16.
young, yeah, in her young adult years, and was able to persuade the guards to let them through under the name of what was it?
Abergris.
Abergris?
Yep. Abergris. Uh, what was it? Did I note it? Let me see if I noted it real quick.
I see Frostwern on your character
Yes,
sheet here.
that's it. That's it. Whatever that name is right there.
Okay. Under the noble house name of Frostvern, it took some deception rolls, but having pretty much a high success on every single one of them, she was able to persuade that she was a new, maybe not a new, but a lost noble house of dragon people.
A draconic bloodline. She's
Uh,
looking to set down her royal draconic roots.
yes, she was trying to make a draconic route inside of Amon. So the guards let her pass and even gave her an escort to the noble district, as the rest of the party set off to the guild tavern to turn in their quests, which they were able to successfully do. But they did notice that there was nobody around inside the guild tavern. It was quite empty, actually. Only a few adventurers were sitting around, all bronze level. I don't think I got to that point, but all bronze level. Nobody higher stature than that. You also, unknown at that time, came across a homeless man, which was actually the magic shop owner that you all robbed. He had now become bankrupt and was living on the streets because he had no house or job anymore. As you all found out later, going to the magic shop, it was closed and for sale. As I think you all then headed to the bookstore, returning the books you had uh, borrowed, and also taking out some new ones. I believe. What book was it, Acteza?
The history of Oman.
The History of Oman. Um, It was at this point, I believe we were nearing the end of the session as you all started to try to meet back up. I know Bazelk actually went to a tailor shop and got a fine set of clothes. Nothing like noble robes, but it was actually more like a fine ghillie suit. The cloak was like a ghillie get up. It almost looks like a bush that, when pulled over yourself, would kind of deceive some people if they weren't actually looking that it was a bush. But the undergarment outside of the cloak was all more fine earthenware. I believe at this point, during the party's adventure, Zenron actually made it to the noble district, and through some successful persuasion was able to have one of the merchants on the royal court of the king give her an audience with one of the other members of the royal court to kind of establish, uh, I guess, communications to just get efforts rolling on her royal roots, trying to set in her roots. It was during this conversation that she bought a house in the noble district for, I believe, 25,000 gold or 20,000 gold.
Yep.
It had been abandoned for quite some time, but uh, they were, I mean, in need of somebody to take it over, or they were going to demolish it, and she had the gold. So luckily, and her kobold Asher that she had brought along with her, bought the house after some, I guess, not negotiations, but after some questioning. Zinrot was able to make her way out of the castle and leave the keep back out to the noble district, where she was on her way to, I guess, either were you going to the house or to meet it with the party?
The house to check it out, but then I think the merchant guy ran out to offer me that trade.
What trade?
If I get rid of if I help seed out the resistance.
Oh yes, that actually is very important. So while Zenrot was meeting the leader of the royal court underneath the king, they tasked Zenrot with a mission. If she wanted to become a noble in this city, it was almost, I don't think I RP'd it well enough, but it was almost like a jab saying, "Oh well, if you really want to become a noble, how about you just do this favor for me, and I'll see about it." Basically to just kind of throw her off because they basically didn't think she would get it done, is how I was trying to swing it. But
Okay.
anyways, they tasked her with the mission to find this rebellion of tieflings that were trying to like overthrow the leadership of the city and kind of reform it in a way, basically to end their slavery. She was tasked to find this group and utterly stomp them out, and that was the only way they would allow her to be even considered to be a noble. Zenrot accepted this mission as she set out from the castle keep, and that's where we will begin our session. Zenrot, you find yourself in the noble district. What are you doing at this point?
Um, she's gonna lead Asher to their new location and just to have Asher check out the residence.
Sure. I
Asher.
believe I believe I set it out to be I think a 15. No, I think it was I'm gonna go with a 10-bedroom residence. So it had so like a miniature, almost like actual mansion kind of get up.
Cool.
So it's a 10-bedroom residence with, I don't know, 5 bathrooms or something. Um, it's pretty spacious. At least that's what you were told. As you make your way, you don't really. I'm not going to make you roll an investigation because they would have given you at least a rough like outline of where to go.
Yeah.
You are able to find the building. It's about a 3-story house, um, or a 3-story like mansion type building.
Okay.
Most of the windows and everything are boarded up. There's some graffiti on the wall that like people have been like cut into it. It's not so run down it's going to fall down at any time to that point, but there's definitely been a lack of upkeep. A lot of windows have been smashed out and have been boarded up. The doors and paint has definitely faded off some, and there's some vines just growing up in areas. But for the most part, it's a well enough built that you could live here without it falling down or anything.
Asher,
Yes.
I want you to examine the property, make a checklist, and then I don't know, maybe I don't like taking money from my hoard, but take 5,000 gold, take half of the kobolds, and I want you guys to start getting this house proper for me. Would you do that for me, Zenrot? I mean, for Asher?
Yes, of course, mistress. I'll get on it right away.
Perfect. I will be back with the group. You just do what you need to do.
And you watch her uh, go up to like the main door. It takes her a couple of like hops and jumps to try to get to the handle as she finally opens it. After a couple of like shoulder checks into the door to kind of open the rusted hinges, it opens, and of course she kind of just vanishes into this dusty, gloomy, dark house. Uh, she leaves the door cracked open; it's not closed. But you lose sight of her as you can just hear like some pitter pattering, looking around the room, and as she had like not a sketchbook, but she was basically writing on her hand. um, so
She she'll just go ahead and look for the rest of the group to let them know.
Sure. You basically retrace your steps back towards the main gate, and it's at this point we'll switch over to the other part of the group. I believe you had all re-adjourned together. This was right after Bazelt got his new new garbs, and this is
Yeah.
I believe we left off right after y'all met back up.
Yep.
You all are able to get together, and actually it's at this point that a portal to the shard opens up as you see Sakira make her way out, looking fully healed and ready to go.
Well, hello there.
Oh, hello. And who might you be?
I am Basilk. I'm. I assume you're with the group that kind of just took me in.
Well, yes, of course. I've been here the whole time, just somewhere, getting freshened up.
Ah, I see.
And she,
Yes.
you see her real quickly. She pulls out a notebook and she starts writing real quickly. And she tears out a page and hands it to you. And she says, "This is a new chapter in my book. It's all about you. Uh, you get roasted and eaten alive by orcs in this one."
I, you don't mean to be harsh, but what the fuck?
The first normal reaction.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all just for my book. That's all.
Aww.
The takes it and just kind of glances over at it and puts it into like a pocket in his cloak.
Says, "Don't worry, there'll be more where that came from."
That was cute.
Thank you.
So, what did I miss? Other than you joining in, where is everybody else?
Yes, character descriptions whenever we
Oh
get
yeah.
that.
Real quick, I'll just do my description real quick since we're opening this. So Bazelk is a 6'7", kind of looks looking like a wood elf with olive toned skin and like kind of white hair. Uh, Kind of just a fairly built, like can't really see much over the almost ghillie suit cloak he has got going on and the um, very woodsy, almost tree-like um, shirt and pants. You see his eyes are kind of yellow with a very thin slit for the pupils.
Okay, so Sakira is a tiefling. She's got long black hair and she's quite fond of her fabled long black dress, rather tight and form fitting. Here's a picture of what I imagine she looks like hardcore Wednesday Adam vibes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
Um, I believe Sinrat. went to go buy a house here.
Yes, she's established herself as a noble somehow.
You wouldn't
Or
know she bought a house, but you would know
Oh,
that.
well, so we kind of overlapped. She came back and told us what the guild member wanted her to do, which is why we ended the session because it was kind of important for Sakira to have an input.
Oh, that's right.
Then
Oh
I'll just
yeah, we're kind of. Yeah, I'll say that kind of happens at this point then.
Okay. So should I just like role play in or?
Yeah, I would say by this point you've kind of made your way back to the group, anyways. So this would be a fine
Okay.
point for you to be walking up.
Hello, everyone.
well,
Sakira
welcome
comes
back.
over and gives you a hug.
The uh, the person that you see in front of you, though, when she comes in, is my computer will like actually load. Let me see here. There it is. It'll be the one on the left of that picture, and she'll give you a hug back. Hi, Sakira. Glad to see you're doing better.
Oh, much better. I was well taken care of.
Oh, I am glad. Hello, Mother, and the rest of the group.
Hello.
Welcome back.
We were
How
regaling.
How was your adventure?
Oh, you know, as she kind of twiddles a little bit of her blonde hair that's hanging down. You know, it went pretty good. I bought a house that you all are welcome to stay at if you'd like. And two, I have an opening to become a noble here, which is needed for what been thinking about lately.
And that would be.
Well, see, as she kind of looks at Sakira up and down. Well, I don't know. For me, it's a very neutral position because it's just history repeating itself. But they want me to root out the remaining resistance of the tiefling that are in the city. And I was thinking, A, we could find them and we could give them money and push them to go settle somewhere safe, unless they truly care about this city, which I guess is understandable. Or two, we help them take over the city as long as they implement me as a noble, and they could use my new bought property as a tunnel directly into the heart of their noble place. So, I mean, I feel like I have all the cards on the table. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Don't have much experience with this stuff, but I feel like option B would probably benefit them a bit more. They might take that option if.
Well, and Sakir, to get you 100% back up to speed, when we entered the city, we realized that they were cracking down on the tieflings more aggressively than when we were last in town. In fact, the Adventurers Guild was all but forsaken due to the hostility inside Oman.
Clearly, genocide for sure.
I don't suggest going to the front of the city.
For like the first time you kind of see a switch in Sakira as like this weird aura comes around her, and you can kind of see like her hair kind of lift and float a little bit as her eyes change color. She kind of shakes that off for a second. She says, if anything, I would prefer that we help them. I don't know if you know what it's like to be treated the way that we have been.
I have an idea of that.
I particularly do not have a perspective on that kind of experience, Sakira. But I agree to helping them. I'm fine with it. It just means I get to eat, which I am very hungry. But I don't know. I now have this house. We could build a tunnel for them, sneak in their people, and then at nighttime, well, we could just kill everyone in the noble district and completely take over the commanding situation of said city. And like she's talking very a little more proper. Her back is up, like she kind of looks like a noble and kind of has like a noble presence to herself a little bit.
As much as I dislike humans, do we even know if the nobles are for this or if it's just the queen or the new queen? 'Cause I don't want to kill them just because.
I haven't made it far enough in my history of Oman to get a better gauge on it, but if I had to guess, they make money off the slave trade.
Yes. And just from, I guess, history itself, time is funny. I I would say that if you're going to take over a city and switch its leadership completely, you probably would want to kill the very people who have their money invested into said leadership. Or you might just get stabbed in the back, possibly. Maybe, I don't know. That's what I think I would do.
Well, you guys are more experienced with the politics of it all, so I won't argue.
Well, good, because I don't really want to take argument from somebody who looks like a tree.
You see Bazilk's eyes kind of narrow a bit more, almost like paper thin.
Damn.
What did you just say to me?
No, don't worry. It's just giving me ideas for the next chapter. I'm thinking of forest fire of some kind.
Damn.
Auntie Sakira, I don't think our friend here, I think they feel insulted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm really bad with social cues. Don't take it to heart.
Some would say that she's acoustic.
I believe the word you're looking for, Zinrat, is autistic.
Oh, is that the instrument? I'm sorry. I'm still somewhat of a baby. She just kind of smiled with it's still kind of like shark teeth, but it's a lot more formal of shark teeth.
They're straighter and everything.
But she does have her dragon eyes, the white eyes with the slits.
This group intrigues me more and more every day.
Mm-hmm. Stop by my quarters sometimes. Me and the kobold can probably intrigue you.
I think I'll take a rain check on that.
Mother,
Yes.
what do you think we should do? Or should we just go ahead with my idea?
Well, you know me. I want more information than what we currently have. All we have is this is what they want us to do. I think more importantly, since we are a full group, Rela, do you have any inputs? And we could walk and talk as you take us to your new lot in the noble district so that we have a little bit more privacy as we get into the latter details of our discussion.
Well, I think it'd probably be best. I don't know, socially, I think someone else should go. But Sakira should find this group of resistance. They won't trust anybody else but a tiefling. And, well, I can help. We can help get things started at the house. Find the best place to start building a shaft. Well, I guess a tunnel going down and then a shaft. Yes?
That's what she said.
Yes, that is what she said. You guys heard that, right? I'm the only one that hears this.
What?
Sakira looks at you with a raised eyebrow.
Never mind, just me.
Question. Just like for RP and my curious mind's sake, after each battle, do y'all clean your clothes or are they just tattered and stained up and everything? Do y'all just leave them as they are or actually clean them?
Oh no, Sakira makes sure that her dress stays pristine.
Okay.
The kobolds probably help with that shit.
Oh yeah, they've got a lot of stains they need to scrub out.
Okay. I'm just double checking. I'm just trying to make sure I understand my party a little bit better if y'all just walking around in patchwork clothes or not. But I gotcha. So you're all looking pretty clean and pressed and all that.
Bazelk's probably looking a bit like after battles and stuff more tattered. Doesn't really care too much about the look of his clothing.
Okay.
Unless they're too damaged that it's affecting things.
Until
Yeah.
now, with your forest
Yeah,
attire.
I'd say right now you're
Well,
fine, but
Yeah, right now I'm fine because I was in just pretty much shags before.
yeah.
I'm just naked the whole time, so.
I mean, I guess in a technical sense, you're just wearing your scales.
Everyone's seen my butthole. Let's just make that clear.
And then Rayla.
Yes.
Did you give your response to Acteza?
No. But Rayla's gonna also suggest that it'd be a good idea to help them. And then she looks at all of them and says, you gotta remember I can also change into a tiefling because I can change my form. So I could always go with Sakira if she's the one that goes.
That's perfect. Actually, you know what? I can do the same thing. Oh, I didn't think about that.
So, you're all making your way towards the Noble District. I believe, were y'all still looking to go to a magic item shop, or...
I was, but I thought we established that it had closed due to.
That one did. I thought I established there was a higher one in the Noble District.
We might not have made
No.
it that far.
Yeah. And should we?
Yeah, I remember describing it last session. It might have just been forgotten. It was part of the when Zinrot was going through when she saw the smithy and everything. It was next to that. It was more of an emporium, is what I called it.
Did I talk to the smithy or no? I don't know.
No, I just was describing the area as you were walking, and I described like an illustrious looking smithy next to a magic emporium, which I meant as like a magic shop, but a very fine one.
Okay. Bef-
Continue.
before we travel, I don't think we should be walking out in the open with Sakira.
Well, I assumed at this point Sakir would use her best judgment. So whether or not she wanted to disguise herself was up to her at this point.
And she would cast disguise self and make her horns disappear, maybe make her just like a little bit taller, maybe a little bit more bustier, just to kind of change things up just a little bit.
Oh, okay, then I guess Sinra will just lead them to the house that Asher is
Okay.
looking at.
Sure. Yeah, and as you do that, fortunately enough, you're lucky that you brought that up, because there was going to be some trouble if you didn't, because you actually see some wanted posters with not only Sakira's face, but also a little girl's face that looked like Zinrot when she was younger, posted around the guard entrances to like the different districts. It looks like they're searching for these two people. Interestingly enough, they say both wanted alive.
They're not
Actually, except for Zinroth, it says alive or dead. But
just kind of smirks and goes, "Well, that didn't age gracefully. Get it? No, it's okay." And she keeps walking.
Sakira like walks up to the wanted poster, examines it, and she like gets like real close to it, and then kind of leans back a little bit and sighs and says, "They can never get my good side, can they?"
no, it's actually a pretty bad misrepresentation of what you look like. Your horns aren't even the same like design as what they actually look like, but your black hair and some of your facial features do match enough that they could probably distinguish you. As you make it to this guard tower, you're actually stopped. Uh, so, what's all the business going on here? We haven't had a group of this size come through here in a while.
Oh, sorry. I am the new noble family that is moving in. I actually just recently bought the abandoned house over there. And this is my entourage.
Oh. Okay. Checks out, but we'll keep an eye on you.
Oh, please do. And she just gives a smile and a small wink.
Is he human?
Yeah.
So Sakira's gonna rip out a page of her notebook, walk up and hand it to him, and she winks at him and says, "Don't worry, you're the hero in this one." And if he chooses to read it, he's gonna read a quick short story of him like running into a burning building to save a small farm family.
Huh. Thanks. And y'all are all able to get by as this confused guards just kind of pockets the story. You're all able to make it to this house, which is really a mansion that Zinrot was describing, as you all see the same scene as I was describing. Not a completely so run down, it's dilapidated kind of house that it's going to fall in, but a decently run down house with boarded up windows and some needs to be kind of redone paint. As you walk up, you don't see any tieflings outside. You do hear some movement inside, which you can only presume to be Asher.
She goes, "Well, here we are, guys. What do you think?" Asher. Asher.
Nobody comes out.
That's another one of your episodes or something wrong?
You've met Asher.
That's a good question. Asher should be here. Or someone or something riddling about in my new property. As she kind of like starts to kind of scroll a little bit, and her hands kind of like clutch as her claws kind of grow, and she's gonna start walking forward towards the house.
Yeah, you feel like a dragon instinct kind of take you over. It's animalistic, as you feel like your lair
Oh, yeah,
is being treaded on.
she'll cut right through the front door.
Like you're actually cutting down the door.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah, you kind of burst open through the door, cutting it not entirely into splinters, but just cutting it off the hinges. As you see Asher now being held at knife point by a tiefling. Kind of like in a hostage situation, they're holding the knife to their neck, kind of grabbing onto Asher.
She'll kind of stand up straight. Is she taller than a tiefling?
I mean, how tall are you?
She would have chose to herself what would be a small size, so she's like a 5'11", 16-year-old.
I mean, you're about similar stature as a tiefling.
She just eyes the tiefling with her dragon eyes as her scales start to kind of form across her face. It's bad etiquette to hold one of mine hostage.
Sakira's gonna step forward, and like her arms kind of outstretched like between the two to kind of like hold Zenrot back and put distance between the two of them. She says, wait. Who are you?
Why? Why would you want to know? What are you doing here?
Sakura just kind of like takes her hand and moves it across her head and revealing her tiefling horns. Why are you here is the question.
I can't tell you that.
Why? Why can't you tell me? Are you in some sort of trouble? Are you in some sort of danger?
Well, I mean, have you seen the state of this city? Clearly, I am.
So then
Not.
start with your name and let us help you.
My name's Hamo, if you have to know, apparently. And who are you all?
Hamo, I am Sakira. My lovely friend here is Zenrot.
She's growling.
Don't worry, I won't let you eat her eat you as long as you drop the knife.
It's at. I'm gonna say it's about at this point. You see a human male kind of run up from one of the other rooms. Almost like you kind of hear him running upstairs, is what it sounds like, as he runs around the corner. He's kind of huffing and puffing with his kind of like think of Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. His kind of get up like a ranger kind of look.
Okay.
He has his hood up. Uh, Rayla, actually, you would recognize this person as Agus, the captain of your spy network. Um, what the hell's going on here?
Sakura casts Hold Person
On who?
on the human that just ran up. He needs to make a wisdom saving throw of 15.
Okay.
Zenrot, we need to work on the security in your new home.
First things first. We eat the current intruders. As she her neck starts to get a little bit longer.
Sakura turns to you and says, Zenrot, hold, please.
What was
Just
the
give me a
DC?
moment. 15.
He passes.
Son of a bitch.
Just pull Naruto. When Shadow Clone of Rasengan stops working, be like, homie,
Talking to Jitsu.
you're better than this.
I know you. You know that I know you. Yeah, he's gonna look at you. Really? Hold person?
I mean, if you prefer, we could cast other magic if that's what he wants. Or both of you can explain what the hell you're doing in our new home.
I can do more
Your
than
home.
cast magic.
You bought this dump?
Sakura pulls out a boomerang and throws it at him.
Okay.
Non-lethal. Does a 20 hit?
Yeah.
Do you want me to roll damage even though it's non-lethal?
Sure, just to see kind of how much you hit him.
It hits him 5, and I'm gonna throw the boomerang just directly at his dome.
Yeah, you kind of just it's not such a heavy impact. It's gonna hurt him for sure, but you leave actually a scratch as it goes to it kind of cuts across his forehead as it barely reaches its arc, and it starts to come back at you. So you just kind of cut his forehead open a little. All right. I can see that the situation here is pretty hostile. Clearly, Rayla here doesn't like to tell anybody her secrets. I mean, a good spy wouldn't. But the name's Agus, and you have stumbled across our little hideout here. That's why the hostility's all risen. The Tiefling was trying to keep guard in case the nobles were snooping about. Well, really, the guards. The nobles don't get off their lazy asses.
Well, it is now mine. And what is mine is mine.
Well, look, that's all fine and dandy, but we need a place to hide out. And this place is pretty preem.
So, why should we trust you?
Rayla, can you catch him up on anything? Or
She's
her, I
gonna look
mean.
at Rela.
She just is gonna be real quiet and then try to lie and say, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Why do you have to make my job so difficult?
Can I roll an
Well,
insight
sure,
on Rela?
sure.
That was a net one. I'm too angry. I'm too angry to. Rela.
I mean, Rayla, if you'd like to contest that, you can. It would just, I guess, be
Deception.
deception, or yeah, a deception would work. You only have to beat a 2.
How about a 20?
Yeah,
Good old
describe what
rogue.
Zinrot sees, because you clearly deceive her.
She just sees me just standing there talking to the captain, telling him that she doesn't know what he's talking about.
One, you never address me as captain. You just are so nonchalant about it. And then 2, you can't even remember the message I sent you. Look, I sent Rayla a message like a day or 2 ago. No, I think it was a week ago at this point. I told her that we were hidden up in Oman here trying to help the tieflings gain their freedom, and that we wanted her to come help us out. And apparently she already forgot that, which isn't untypical.
Do you have any proof of this?
Well, I mean, the tiefling here is working with me, but come on. Besides, close the door. We don't need to be seen anyways. Come downstairs. I will introduce you to the rest of us.
The rest of us.
Well, yeah, you kind of
Is-
need a lot of people for resistance.
Is the other tiefling still holding the kobold at knife point?
No, I'd say he let the kobold go, and at this point, Asher's like kind of not trying to outright kill the tiefling, but just kind of peeved a little bit and is like trying to bite at him.
Is that about? Okay.
I will come downstairs with you. However, you threaten one of us again, I'm not going to stop her from eating you.
Look, I don't know what sights you've seen around here, girly, but they're hanging your kind by their innards. I mean, if a little caution and hostility isn't warranted, I don't know when it wouldn't be. They're basically genociding y'all out there. I'm surprised you're not more accepting to join us.
Well, you kind of interrupted our discussion on how we wanted to approach this. Looks like no time like the present, though. Lead on.
And of course, I would be willing to help you. That's really what I want to do. But that does not mean that my loyalty does not lie with my friends.
Well, I guess everybody's got to be loyal to somebody.
Rayla's going to interject now, like at all you, and be like, had to make sure we could trust all you with this, which is why I said I didn't know what he was talking about. I did come here to help the tieflings with all this. I wasn't sure if this was going. I didn't know this is where you were buying the house. Can't answer on that one, but they are here to help.
Zinrot will go back more to her human form. And she goes, well, she's kind of rubbing her hands, kind of hard. She's just bothered that people are in her place. She goes, well, I guess this works out in this way. Okay, lead on.
And he does. Him and the other tiefling kind of walk down side by side. They're not talking to each other. They're just walking all down into like the basement cellar region of this house. From what you can tell, there seems to be barrels of what you can presumably would contain wine or beer, ale of some kind, as well as the diamond kind of shelving that people put wine in, in like a cellar, made out of wood, latticed like across the right wall. As you come down, the stairway kind of meets a platform as it turns to the left and goes down like 3 or 4 more steps, leading into a cobblestone kind of floored basement. You actually see a bunch of tieflings as well as some humans and dragonborns kind of just running around. Just gathering up info almost in a hurry as Agus is going to be like, all right, hold on. We're not being raided. Stop putting everything away. we we just have some uninvited visitors, or I guess apparently uninvited owners,
Yeah,
as
did
they
not
bought
find
this
him.
place.
Right when he said visitor, Zinrod just eyed him so hard.
Yeah, he's like, or apparently uninvited owners, as they bought the place. I know Rela, so I can vouch for her, and the rest apparently Rayla vouches for. So don't worry. Let's just get back to business as they kind of all start unpacking and almost in a war, kind of like a war room way. There is one table, and they kind of have the map of Oman on it with some locations kind of marked and like sketched over, kind of roughly in pencil, as you can tell. As they just kind of unpack their bedrolls and everything, most of the tieflings look. Some are very injured. Some are like wrapped in a whole and like in some bloody wrapping. Some are unconscious on the floor being treated. Um, there's some dragonborn trying to help them with some low-level healing spells or potions, um, as well as a few humans just looking around over logistics and the things. As this is kind of the sight that's greeted you. So, well, welcome to the operations here in Oman. This is the group Dragonthorn. This is the spy network me and Rayla work for.
Interesting. She's gonna look over to Acteza. I mean, this works.
Morgar, Tellero, would you be kind enough to go back upstairs and provide surveillance for us if there are actually any unintended guests to arrive?
I did not describe that during the last session. During a long rest, uh, Acteza actually gained a new familiar, which apparently was sent by her father, surprisingly enough,
Ooh,
um, in the form of a what is it? A Dumbo octopus. So I put it in the chat.
hell yeah.
It's very cute.
In addition, Morgar has transformed, so after we summoned him, kind of like the concept of the Avatar state, he changes forms every time he's brought back, so he's currently a spectral owl.
Okay. Yeah, and Sakira, you just feel like a octopus tentacle just rub completely all over the top of your head as it kind of floats over top. You just get crop dusted by its tentacles basically, as it kind of just in a flying motion, kind of like octopus swim through the ocean, goes up the stairs with an owl.
As Sakura feels the tentacle on her head, like she kind of giggles and blushes a little bit. Those who would be paying attention, this would be the same look that she gets when she's near the kobold.
Yeah, you just hear like a squeaky toy noise come from the octopus as it flies off. That's about the only noises it kind of makes, is kind of squeaky noises. I would try to recreate, but hell no.
Zinrod's gonna kind of like snap her fingers as the portal to the shard opens, so she can have the the construction remodeling crew kobolds come in and start working on the house above?
Yes, Asher was going to get to that before she was kind of held at knife point. The kobolds are pretty much quickly filled in by Asher, who has kind of regained her composure on what's happening as they kind of just head up the stairs and start rebuilding, somewhat with some of the not the items you've gathered, but some of the raw resources you've gathered. Um, and Asher will attempt to go out and buy some resources as well.
Yeah.
Is Asher in some noble looking clothes?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a much more noble looking Espada outfit. Much like he's wearing he's wearing Gin's outfit from the Espada.
Okay. And I'll say she carries around somewhat of like a seal, just in brevity's sake, to make it easier for her to get resources, because kobolds generally are not seen in cities, at least friendly. So this would help her in that venture.
Yeah, it's Zinrat's footprint that is the royal. It's her crest. It's a dragon's footprint.
Okay. So Agus turns to the group at this point. So this is all we got. I got about 20 of my men, and then the tieflings you see around here number about 15. We tried to get more, but a lot of them have been captured and taken to the capital or the castle. We haven't seen any of them come back from there.
Well, we are in the noble division, right outside the castle. I wonder, could I? She kind of looks around at the basement. I mean, using the kobolds and this group, and we could use the shard as a dumping place for the rocks. We could probably within a day or two make a shaft down here that leads to the castle. I don't know. It's an idea.
Yeah, to give a little more description, the cellar basement kind of area is about a 30 by 30 foot area.
Good.
It mainly looks to be where storage was kept by whoever owned this ale, wine, and also storage for like either dry goods or just knickknacks that they had, like furniture and stuff they didn't want to use, um, by the previous owners, which are now being graciously used by the new tenants, or I guess the new invaders, you could call them, the resistance here. There's also a door that leads to some other room, presumably another just storage area is the best guess you can have. Um, and then what did you say? You just basically said you could tunnel.
Yeah, make a shaft that leads to the castle underground. We have the workforce, and we could use the shard to transport the materials, so that way it never has to leave the basement. No one would know any mining is taking place.
Agus raises an eyebrow to this. Well, none of us have the tools to dig. I mean, we have some hand shovels maybe, but not anything to tunnel.
Well, there's me. I can lead that charge. And she opens up the portal to the shard again, and she calls out the remaining kobolds.
Oh, hold up. What are you gonna do once you tunnel, if you can, to the castle? You're just gonna charge in there, guns ho, and kill everybody?
I mean, well, let me ask you this. Are you looking to be free from this place, or do you want this place?
My group's not invested in leading an entire kingdom. We like to stick to the shadows. We like to oversee the going-ons of this world, you could say. But no, we don't want to take over this place. Actually, and he kind of snaps his fingers as some of the other humans kind of give not a curtsy, a bow as they go into the other room. And after about a minute passes, they come out with what looks to be a nobly dressed person, not much akin of Yuzenra, but far more elegant, wearing jewels and golden necklaces and rings. Uh, so this is actually our ace in the hole. This right here is Thormelin Lacroix. He's he used to be the prince of this place until his father was killed by the current ruler.
Okay.
He wants to we're basically the idea and the plan we have here to try to elaborate more. Hopefully, we can get on the same page here. So, our plan is to try to overthrow this kingdom, yes, but like I said, we have no goal in taking over this place, and the tieflings, I mean, none of them have the knowledge or qualifications to. But he's of noble bloodline, and his father used to rule. Most nobles would accept him. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. He's probably just going to enslave tieflings like the last one, but I mean, and he'll tell you himself he doesn't really agree with it. And that's why I think he's our best option here. We could overthrow the current ruler, this evil, vile woman, reinstate him as the new ruler, and hopefully Oman can come into the more modern day of being a free city for all.
You say he can tell us himself, but from my
Yes.
experience, actions speak louder than words. What has he done to prove himself that he won't re-enslave?
And you see him, he kind of comes up himself. I know you don't know me, but my name is Thormelin Lacroix. You don't know me at all, and you probably hate me even for being associated with this family I belong to. All I can give you is my word at this moment that I promise I don't want to see people enslaved. My father and all the fathers before him, all they cared about was the money of these tieflings and how they could sell people. It was the goblins at one point. Hell, they even tried the elves at another. But I don't agree with it. It's just not right. And
So,
you can actually see him. He looks, even though he looks in some fine garb, it looks kind of tattered and worn, and he's actually bandaged up. Look, believe me or not, I want to protect these people. I've tried to help them and took some blows myself. I know that doesn't speak much, but I will help out as much as I can.
what is the plan to implement such?
What do you mean? Like
Well,
make him king?
yes. I mean,
Well,
do you need me to go eat the family or?
I mean, of course we need to overthrow. I keep close Zella, but that's not an easy feat. She has a whole army at her side, and she's pretty fortified the capital. There were some tieflings that tried to overthrow and start their own rebellion, but I'm sure you've seen what some of them have become outside the front gate. They were all but slaughtered.
Interesting. Huh?
I'll trust you for now. If you make a move outside of your promise, I will not hesitate to kill you.
And who are you directing that to?
The prince.
Oh, he just looks at you and gives you a head nod. I mean, that's all he can do.
What type of
Sakira. Oh, good.
what type of numbers are we looking at? Vibe with the remaining nobles. You said that you believe that at least some of the nobles would back Lacroix here, but Rebellion needs more than just sentiment in order to be successful.
Yes, I see you are a pretty tactical one. Yes, we have the backing of the Merchant Guild. And this was the guy that actually got you into the capital, Zinrot. We have the backing of the Merchant Guild. He agrees with our standing on a free city. He actually is part of the royal court himself, so he's a large backer. All of his house and the nobles affiliated with him will back our cause. Outside of him, we're lackluster on the rest. That only accounts for about 25% of the noble courts.
Interesting, because he's the one that gave me the mission to kill all the tieflings to gain
He
noble.
wasn't.
Oh, I thought
That was the leader.
Sakira,
Yes, Zenrot.
can I talk to you upstairs about something?
Of course.
Zimmerman's gonna go upstairs.
And Sakira will follow her.
Okay, before we get to that, he'll kind of continue on just to get some more information out there. So we have the backing of the Merchant Guild, which is a, a good portion of the noble families. That counts for a little over 30% of the noble families. The military, the military nobles, of course, go with the capital. They're not going to back us. As for the rest, they're undecided. I think if our plan was to be successful, they would go in line with the new king because clearly they have no spine to choose one side or another. But that's the hard part. We would have to somehow get to Zilla. We'd have to overthrow her, whether killing or imprisoning or however the job be done. And we'd have to also stop her plans. We have some new information that we gathered from our spies. We have at least a few spies, some killed, that have acquired some information. She's doing something with the tieflings. She's not just killing them for sport, she's using them for something, some kind of ritual. We don't know to what god or to what being, but she's sacrificing them in some kind of spell. I don't know what the hell it's going to cause, but I sure as hell don't want it to go through. But clearly, she only wants tieflings for it.
Have you reached out to the Adventuring Guild to see what their opinion on the matter is, whether or not they would send another team of adventurers to assist, especially if there's some sort of dark ritual involved?
We tried, but most of the adventurers left the city. A lot of them didn't agree with the genocide and didn't want to have to deal with it while taking quests around here. And most quests stopped flowing. And once the quests stopped coming, the gold stopped being around. So they left. A lot of them only cared about the gold and not really the cause. You're about the only group of adventurers I've seen in the city for quite some time.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I misspoke. I meant to specifically reaching out to the leaders of the Adventuring Guild, not just here in Oman, but at large.
No, the guild here in Oman can't overthrow the current rulers. That's just not how they can operate. One, they don't have the manpower, especially unless they can have a lot of money to give out to adventurers to take on a quest. But two, to overthrow a whole kingdom would take at least a couple of thousand men. It's at this point we'll go to the conversation upstairs.
Sakira, let me ask you something.
I'm all ears, Zenrot.
Would you want a city that tieflings controlled?
Like her eyes widen and she almost like she can't even she can't hold the excitement back that she accidentally uses thaumaturgy and her eyes go anime wide. And you see a little star glint in them as she thinks about this. She says, "Of course, why wouldn't I want that? Someplace where me and my kind can be safe, prosperous. Of course I would want that."
And if I made you the hero that led that revolution, would you swear to be, when the time comes, to be my knight and to accept my patroness over my mother?
Says, "I promise you when the time comes I will bring pain and misery to our oppressors. And when it is time to repay my debt to you, I will do it in tenfold."
My father is sick, Sakira, and things have changed for me. My mentality is changing faster than I thought it would, but I think I've agreed to step away from the mind of a child and start walking in the steps I need to. I was gonna save this for, I don't know, a childish feeling to change one's fate that sadly lost, but we can't always go against fate in the selfish ways, I guess. She's gonna hold up her two fingers like this. She's gonna use that rare spell that she has, DM.
Okay.
I'm gonna change a point of history.
Okay.
How long ago did the Tieflings revolt?
I'd say 2 weeks ago.
How bad of a loss was it?
Probably about 100 to 150 tieflings.
Let me think of this very carefully. She basically wants to change the course of fate that Sakira led that attempted revelation 2 weeks ago and was able to turn the hearts of the people against his own government. And the Tieflings win. She wants to make it out. Zimrat wants to make it so that the Tieflings are now like the war is just over. Like the fight is just over.
So you want to make it to where Sakira is the leader of the tieflings who have now like won the war against this kingdom?
She is the hero that led us and the Tieflings victory and claiming the city under Tiefling rule from their oppressors. So that way she's the main hero, but we is kind of what I'm thinking. And maybe it was just Akira that was there, as the rest of us were busy doing things with the orcs and whatnot to make that fate work.
Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. I won't give you all of that, but I'll meet you about halfway on it.
Okay.
So, DM wise here, I'm fine with that. I'm gonna say twisting fate. When you arrived at this city, you somehow arrived 2 weeks earlier. You got like a gust of wind in your sails. And Sakira basically took over the uprising of the city, seeing the state it was starting to become.
Okay.
Your party was able to go around and free a lot of the tieflings, pretty much almost all of them. Some still died. You all met up with the revolution, led by Agus, which Rela belongs to. So that still happens. So you're still all together in that way.
Okay.
To keep it kind of chronological. If you so the noble thing never happens. You never go to the noble district and have that meeting or whatever.
Only But did the tieflings win?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
The rest of the events, that's like going to the tailor shop and turning in the quest, all that happened. That's all fine. None of that will change. So I will say the tieflings win to the point that they are not being genocided by the guards, and the guards have pulled. All of the loyal guards still loyal to Zella have pulled back to the castle, and now you have majority control of the city surrounding the keep. So you've won into the extent of you've pushed you've gained all the resistance up to an extent enough that you control basically most of Oman, but Zella and her remaining forces are in the keep, still trying to defend itself. So for the most part, y'all win, and she's under house arrest, but there's still that problem to deal with.
Let me think real quick. I was hoping that we would.
That's the farthest I'll give you. I won't. I won't. Basically, I can't just say you just win and it's over, because this is going to be a little bit more, because this is a backstory thing for Sakira.
Oh shit! I didn't know. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm fine with this use. I'm fine with the way I described it. So you basically would be the heroes and would have won to the extent that she still technically, in a way, is still the queen of the city, but she's under house arrest by the rebel forces that you are now leading.
It's like we won Helm's Deep. We just haven't finished the war yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
you've won Helm's Deep. You're just waiting to sack the castle.
Meta-wise, Zinra doesn't think she can explain this to you in simple terms, so she's just gonna do it. But
So you do it?
well, I'm waiting to hear
Oh.
from Clarissa.
Ah, gotcha.
God damn it, fucking mute. So, essentially, what I'm understanding here is,
Lives will be saved.
yeah.
A lot.
Tiefling lives.
Did you say that I'm under house arrest?
No, the bishop.
No, Zella would be.
Okay.
Like we can't, like right now the castle is like 100% turtle mode, and we're just trying to get inside the shell right
Yeah,
now.
basically what happened is y'all in quotes, you invaded Oman from the inside. So you didn't need a force quite as large. You had probably tops 500 people, including the resistance when they first got into the city, and all the tieflings you saved in total. I'd give you about 500 men. Without the resistance, you'd probably be down to 300 tieflings, including the party in that number. You attacked the city from the inside, so you took a lot of guards by surprise. A lot of guards surrendered and joined your forces, and joined the resistance, which then basically the noble houses outside of the military ones that I've described, all the noble houses that were already with this resistance before this change, are now allied with you. Excuse me. All the other merchants and guilds, like the city is under your control, but technically on paper and for the other cities, Zella is still the queen, and she still has some military might. They've just now holed up in the castle because you've overthrown and taken over and gained the ally of so many people that you basically rule the rest of the city. She just still owns the keep and is trying to take back the city.
Let's do it.
Okay. Party group, you guys cool with this? Meta-wise?
Yeah, is that fine with everybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I don't see why not. It makes sense to me that like we've won a major battle, but it didn't finalize the war essentially.
Yeah.
Cool, because I just because Zimnot's, I mean, she's still growing into her maturity side, is still blossoming, so she's still a little, so she's not even, but you guys won't even know. You guys will like, you guys will, okay. Zimnot kind of looks at you. to Kieran goes, I hope you stay true to that. 'Cause I'm using this on you. As she like she's like almost pinching right above your face as she's like grabs a little point as gravity and time as a small singularity forms with like strings going through it into the unknown as she kind of pulls it. I'm changing fates. And she just plucks it to basically symbolize the change of fate.
You all have never teleported in your life, but this is 100 times that. It feels as almost the planet spins backwards on its rotation around the sun, or around these suns, because there's about three in my world, in this solar system. The planet, not literally, but basically, it's like as if the planet reverses itself in its timeline. You all are just flown thousands of miles per hour as things just change before you. In each of your mind, the memories you once had of the current events change. They don't disappear, so you kind of remember the everything that's happened up to this point, but then all of a sudden it's kind of replaced with a side memory of these events. So you all remember coming to Oman 2 weeks earlier than your expected arrival. You remember sacking and raiding and freeing a bunch of enslaved tieflings. You remember taking up the helm with alongside the Dragonthorn Resistance to free Oman, and you remember uh, summarily rooting out and gaining many allies as rooting out many enemies and gaining many allies. At this point, you still have this house that you all hold up in this house. You never bought the house, so that gold returns to you. You never went and established yourself as a noble, so that never happened. But you did turn in your 2 quests. You did go to the tailor shop. All those things with everybody else happened, except Zenrot. All that you did basically didn't. Um, I'm sure you could still take Asher with you, but you can still be repairing this place to take ownership, but you didn't necessarily buy it. You've taken over the city and you have claimed ownership of this mansion, and this is your HQ for the Resistance, which is still in this basement. But everybody's a lot more healthier looking, and you also have a small, sizable army that is also stationed and surrounded the castle, which is now being protected on its fortified walls by the remaining army of Aman, with Zelarakoroi still on the throne. Time, the rotation just stops all in one instance. Whether you throw up or not is up to you, because this is a very jarring experience. It's almost like you're thrown through, like, it's almost like you got kicked from one side of the world all the way back to this point of the world. You went around the whole world, basically, is how it feels to you.
I feel bad
As
for
you're,
them. They're just talking to people, and then they just start going through this process.
yeah, and as you land, all of a sudden you're surrounded by a lot more people. And Sakira, when you stop, you're actually greeted by a couple of tieflings. Sakira, are you okay? You look not well.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I was
Oh,
like,
good. We can't have our leader being sick.
a little like dazed from everything that just happened. And she says, "No, I'm not. I'm not sick. In fact, here, I'll prove it." As she opens up her book to show a drawing that she would have made at some point of um her and the rest of the tieflings burning all of their enemies at the stake.
Oh, Sakira, you're just so funny. We love your drawings. Uh, you don't need much of insight. One of them's lying when they say this. The other one actually does seem to be genuinely enjoying your stories. Um, well, that's good. We were worried you're getting sick. It has been a long time since y'all have come here to take over the city. About a month, actually. But I love that y'all have been able to help us so much. You're our hero, honestly.
Zinrot pats Sakira's shoulder. She walks past her. She has her own business to attend now as plans have changed.
Yeah, in the basement, no expansions have been made and no real changes to the environment. There's not as many injured. There are some still injured down there. I'd say about like maybe 3 people, but for the most part, there actually is a more bustling and happier environment. As Agus is still looking at all you, are you all okay? I know we've been fighting this fight for a good while, but we're not done yet.
I think we're okay. Bring us up to speed on our current status.
Uh, sure. As he'll kind of move y'all or kind of guide y'all over to the war table. So if you remember right, about a month ago, you came into the city and you rallied up the troops, freeing a lot of the tieflings. Well, we've gained support from the merchant guilds, as well as some of the undivided houses of nobles. So we have about a good, I'd say, 65% of the nobles on our side, as well as some of the military is allied with us. Our forces are about equal with the remaining forces holed up in the castle. Zealot Croy is still holding on firm to that throne, but I think over the next couple of days we might be able to make some headway. I know we were talking about an effort to tunnel underneath the castle to get in there and stop her from whatever this magical ritual she's doing. I know y'all were able to free a lot of the tieflings, but she still has captured a good few of them.
All right. Yeah, that seems about right. Have we detected any weaknesses to her current fortification? Any access points that might be easier than others? Obviously, the underground tunnel is an option, but that will take at least a couple days.
Yes, and actually, the tunnel has started to be made, but these aren't dwarven miners by any means. Whether they're dwarves or among them or not, it's only been it might be only 50 feet of a tunnel made. Yes, efforts have been made in that, but like you said, it will take a couple more days before we can tunnel into the castle. As for
General,
their fortifications, I mean, they are a well formed and well trained army. Their fortifications aren't too bad. As for weaknesses, the only thing I can say is they don't have they don't have any siege equipment while we do, which would help our efforts. But it would also destroy a good portion of the castle area. Which I mean, I'm sure we won't mind rebuilding once we take over this place, but or I guess y'all take over. We don't want it.
tieflings, as the Zimmer comes down, we'll need to find a family to become the new noble family, which is tieflings.
Oh, and here I thought Sakira was going to take up that.
If she wants to. She looks over to Acteza and kind of mouths, sorry.
I'm glad to go where I am needed the most.
Yes, well, I wish we still had Thormelin. I know he was part of the previous noble family, but he did help us in times of need. And actually, in part of your memory, he sacrificed himself for you, Sakira, dying in your not dying in your arms, but basically taking a fireball for you.
And you can kind of see the mention of his name. You can kind of see a look of sorrow come over Sakira's face.
But you have a point. We do need to find a new person to take over the well, the throne. Some of the nobles that have allied with us wouldn't be bad candidates, having experience in well politics and the likes. But if a tiefling must rule, we'll have to find somebody.
And I will donate, I will help donate a part of my vast wealth to help with rebuilding and repurposing this city.
Well, most of the city's okay. There are some areas that need to be rescuffled. I mean, your party seems to be a lot of magic casters, and you definitely bring the bada boom to most of your fights. Some of the houses got blown up, but for the most part, it shouldn't take much funding to get things rebuilt. Now that also depends on our plan here. So, as I was saying, are we going sneakily into the castle through the tunnel? Or are we going to try to siege?
I think we work both angles. We set up a siege with the majority of our forces, and a smaller set of strike teams enter through the tunnels.
Agreed.
Well, that's not a bad plan either. I mean, it would help both sides, but one could serve as a distraction either or. As for who to send the tunnel, I would suggest you all. Your party is pretty good at, well, killing.
That would be wise. Yes, yes. And I can help
Whoever goes,
the
continue.
tunnel process.
I mean, whoever goes through the tunnel would be the group to go after Zeller LaCroix.
She looks to Sakira.
I like the idea of taking both angles, working every opportunity that we have.
Well, as we wait for the tunnel to be completed, I think I'm going to make my way over to the Emporium to see if there's any goods to help us with the impending confrontation with Zella.
Sure. Would anybody else like to go to the magic shop?
Yeah, Bazalk will go.
Okay.
Once I'm done with the tunnel, I'll want to head to a blacksmith, but that's about it.
There's one right next to it too.
Sure.
So for the tunnel, I'm assuming you're helping out with that.
Yeah, she's gonna pull a Godzilla move from Godzilla versus King Kong, and she's gonna singularity breath the tunnel.
I think you actually had a digging speed. No, I guess not. The breath also wouldn't be a bad idea. Trying to think how I kind of want to rule that for tunneling. I'd say each breath you get about maybe 30 feet, and it looks like you can use it 3 times a day. So that'd be a total of 90 feet if you use your breaths, which wouldn't take you long, especially like out of combat wise, having some breaks in between your singularity breaths. It wouldn't take you but maybe an hour in total to kind of get that distance, especially removing the dirt and everything as well with the kobold's help, I'm sure.
Yeah, she'll do that. She'll tell everyone to back away since I don't know if they know she's a full-blooded dragon and she's gonna transform.
They
and
would
then,
at this point.
And then she won't shoot it 3 times. She's just gonna do like an ultra charge before it just the white beam just fucking is like just massive.
Yeah, and I mean, like Godzilla, you charge up, all your crystals kind of start to rotate as you start digging your way through power drilling this tunnel. I'd say in total to get to the castle from where you are, um, if you pull up the Oman map, the map of Oman, um, I'm actually pulling that up myself. So if you pull up the map of Oman, the place you own is let's see. I'm actually just gonna share my screen because that would make this a lot easier.
Agreed.
Just to give you an idea of the place you own. So this this whole area right here
Uh-huh.
is the wall of the keep. So this is the keep right here.
Okay.
This wall is about 60 foot high. It has guards on all of its fortifications. This is mainly the military district. This is where all the army keeps and everything. The castle is actually up here in this area. Now, the place you bought is actually right here.
Cool.
It's not very large, but a pretty sizable house. As for where the magic and smithy are, that would be in this area. So you're actually not super far from it.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
And
once. Okay.
and then the merchant guild is actually right here.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So how
you're in
far
a
is the
decent
tunnel?
location. So just looking at the map here, I'd give you probably, I'd say if you're going all the way up to the center of the castle, you're looking at about 1,000 feet.
Okay, so we're at roughly 100 feet right now.
Yeah, so you've made it a little over 100 feet, and that's just a few hours of work.
Wait,
I'll
wasn't
give
you already at 50 feet?
Yes, so you're a little over 100. You're like 130 feet or so.
Well, 90 plus 50 would be 140.
140.
140. My math was off 10. God.
Yeah.
How dare I? 140 feet. And that's just with some of the workers. The plan hasn't really gone super far in that direction as of this point, anyways. So with the Cobalt's help and your help, and just like some various tiefling or other workers' help, I'd say in total each day, just to kind of simplify it, you're able to make about 300 feet each day.
Okay. She'll she'll basically, after she does about 200 feet worth from her 90 feet worth of blasting, and then 110 after that, she'll head to the she would have head to the blacksmith.
All right, give me just a moment. I'm rolling for magic items because I did not do that. All right. So you make who all's going to the magic shop? I think it was just Acteza.
And
Uh,
Bazelk.
Bazelk.
Oh, and Bazilk. Okay, Sakira and Rela, what are y'all doing during this time? Are y'all just gonna kind of take a back seat, or?
I'm sorry, I was dealing with the doggos. Can you repeat the question?
So Acteza and Bazilk are heading to the Magic Emporium, which is, I will just say for brevity, has more a bit more abundance of magical items than the previous shop. And then Zenrot's heading to a smithy. Is there anything you and Rayla would like to do during this little time?
I can't think of anything that Sakura would want to do at the present moment.
Okay. And what about you, Rayla?
There's also not much that Rayla really needs to do at this moment either.
Okay. All right. So, Acteza and Bazilk, you both make your way to the magic shop. Given the fate change, you would know generally where it is. Um, so you're able to make your way to a pretty nice building. I'm imagining a gypsy kind of look. So it is a stone and wooden type building, but there's like canopy of purple and golds and greens, kind of with almost like a tie dye look to it, surrounding the building with some like beads and they actually have some bean bags out front with some small tables. There seems to be a few tieflings kind of sipping on some herbal tea as you enter the shop. There isn't like a chime, but you actually walk through a curtain of some beads that just almost like a wind chime kind of shing as you walk through them. When you enter, the person standing there seems to be a dragonborn, a dragonborn male. He seems to be about middle aged, wearing some kind of Aladdin style type clothing. He has a vest on, as well as some more baggy kind of parachute looking pants, is how I'm going to describe it, and just some slippers on, like some actual slippers you'd wear outside of bed. Welcome, welcome. What can I do for you two?
I'm just looking around right now.
Oh, okay. Just browsing. Well, if there's anything you're looking for, let me know. And what about you, young ma'am?
Well, I was wondering if you had any of the items perchance on this list, and she'll hand him the list that I sent you.
Ah, yes. I haven't had a time to look at it. Hmm. Interesting, interesting. You have a keen eye for things you like, don't you?
Well, at least things that I've researched that should assist me in my adventuring.
I'm gonna look at some of these items just because I don't know some of them and their rarity.
Yeah, did I not put I thought I threw it in there. I might not have. Or obviously I didn't since you're saying that they're not there.
I don't see the Cape of Billowing for some reason.
It might be. Although I think you have most of the books, so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not pulling up for me. I don't know if it's a homebrew item or something, which I'm not against.
Oh, sorry, Cloak of Billowing.
Ah, that would help.
Yeah.
Ah,
Which looks a little more rare.
oh. So it's just a common cloak that just lets you billow dramatically whenever you want. Yeah, he would definitely have that being a common item that just is for looks, especially being a magic shop that a lot of nobles like to go to. They all like their dramatic effects, so that's an easy find. Yes, we have the Cloak of Billowing. A lot of nobles seem to like that one, almost for their grand entrances, because they like their appearances.
Delightful.
That item will probably run you just 50 gold will do.
Easy enough.
Let me see about these other items. Um, as I'm looking through these other items, Bazilk, as you're kind of walking around, there are some bows and some armor and weapons. You find a good assortment of just about any type of weapon you're looking for. As for its magical property, you'll have to discern that either with identify or ask the shopkeeper themselves. Um, so if there's any specific weapon or armor you're looking for, just let me know.
Uh,
Or item. I mean, you
yeah.
can always just let me know the item. I will say you're able to come across a couple of spell scrolls as well. Of course, there are potions of healing from common to superior variety.
Shopkeeper, do you have any crossbows, magical crossbows that would be fitting for more so definitely more sort of ranger type? I'm not uh, too experienced with the magical items.
Hmm. Um. So just for more context, have y'all seen the Amazon show for Critical Role? Okay.
Yeah.
So my idea for this shop, it looks like the that guy they go to for like the Lance of Dragon Slaying, like that whole
Oh.
that shop. That's kind of the idea. So there are some items around, but the higher variety you'd have to specifically ask him for. He definitely keeps those under lock and key and not on display. um and then what were you asking for? I know a crossbow, but of what?
Crossbow was suiting for a ranger, maybe giving me a bit more accuracy or dealing a sort of effect, possibly, I don't know, poison?
Interesting, interesting. Let me see what I can find. And he starts to kind of rummage through some of the like items around. No, not this. No, not that. You'll have to give me a moment, dear. I'm looking.
Not a
Hmm.
problem, sir.
Do y'all mind if we take like a 10-minute break? I have to go to the bathroom.
Yep, not a problem.
Yeah, let's take us a 10-minute break, go to the bathroom, all that.
Yeah, food.
Sounds good.
So real quick, just for timekeeping's sake, the shopkeeper comes back to you, Acteza. Well, I've looked around for some of the items you were trying to find, and there's actually a few if your budget can suffice. I was able to find a cauldron of rebirth. I can't believe we have one of these. Well, it was the only one. That one will cost you probably about 20k. And then as for the rod of the pet keeper, we have a +1, but and it took some finding. It was way in the back. For 50k gold, I found a +3.
Well, unfortunately, I think both of those are out of my budget.
Oh, I'm sorry, dearie. You have a good eye, though. Let's see. Yes, and the broom of flying. We have one of those in stock. Not many people actually want those, weirdly enough. It some people say it's the witchy vibe it gives them. That one, I'll say 100 gold. It's yours. It's actually a common item. I'm surprised.
Well, because I think it has some pretty heavy limitations on
Yeah.
functionality. Well, I think I can take that one. Was there any other items before I make the final decision? But
Unfortunately not. From your list, that's the only ones I found.
alrighty.
Well, I'm so glad you're happy with our patronage here today. If you'd like to leave us a review, please do, as there's like a notebook, or not a notebook, some sticky notes that have just some writings of like 1 to 5 star and if you liked your service kind of thing. It goes into like a little drop box kind of thing. And that's just what he's pointing to when he says that.
Perfect. She'll leave. It's one of those reviews where like service was great, items well expensive, seemed to be of great quality. 4 stars. Like it's not like overly descriptive, but it's there.
Yeah. Let's see. Man, I'm not coming across any like ranged items. So she comes back to you. Looks like the only crossbow I was able to find that kind of meets your requirements there. Well, now it's not pulling up. How dare it? Oh, not crossbow, crossbow. The only item I was able to find that kind of meets your requirements there, dearie, is a star shot crossbow. It doesn't do the poison thing, but it seems to be when fired, you can choose to deal 2d8 fire damage with it. Well, fire damage, he doesn't say 2d8. It's pretty explosive.
How much?
Let me see. Nobody really buys this one. I'll say 1,000 gold and it's yours.
Well, kind of looks over at Acteza. Are you able to loan me some?
I guess it depends on how much you need. Short of us making a trip back, all right. Otherwise, you're gonna have to make a conversation with Zenrot.
Yeah, if you remember right, you do have a dragon that has about 1,000,000 gold. Outside of that, the rest of the party does not.
Yeah, I only got 130. It is definitely something that I want, but I don't have the gold on me at the moment.
Well, it's gonna. I'll probably be here whenever you want to come back. Nobody really buys this item. Well, I mean, clearly I have it. As for the other items you couldn't afford either, dearie, they'll be here as well. I mean, you did take over most of the city, and I could give you a discount, but it seems your pockets are light, to say I'm sorry. She's basically saying the clientele she gets here have much deeper pockets.
All is good. I will be back for sure, though. Thank you
Sounds
for
good. So as you leave, you actually do cross paths with Zenrot on her way to the smithy, which is right next door. What are you eating?
A thick ass prime rib burrito.
I just had a
Yeah.
breakfast burrito myself.
Hell yeah. Prime rib.
It looked like an Uncrustable to me for some reason.
Well, I mean, I made sure the tortilla shell is crispy because I like that crunch.
Hell yeah. Is there anything y'all'd like to say to Zenrot? I mean, if y'all are looking for gold, this would be a good time. If not, I'll move on to Zenrot's thing.
Acteza would be content with what she got, at least for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bazilk was like, Zenrot, I have a question for you.
Oh, excuse me. I'm gonna call you Biz. I can't remember your full name, but Biz it is. What can I do for you, Biz?
See, at the magic shop, there's a crossbow that I want to get. It's a little bit pricey for me. How much was it? Was it 1,000 gold?
Yeah, it was just 1,000.
It's about 1,000 gold. I only have 130. Is there any chance that I could possibly loan some gold from you?
And how about this? I'll do something better for you. And how about I pay you for your time? How about I pay you to stay with us for a few years? How about that?
Sounds good to me.
Under my employment, though. Hmm?
I don't have much elsewhere to go, so I accept.
She'll snap her finger as the portal opens, and she calls over one of the kobolds.
Yeah, there's only like one, maybe 2 kobolds left in the shard. The rest are kind of working on repairs. Yes.
Hi. I need you to get 10,000 gold from the pile and give it to Biz here.
Okie dokie. And they kind of they don't have a wheelbarrow, but they kind of bring over like a wooden bucket filled with 10,000 gold. Here you go. It's quite heavy. They like both had to carry it.
There, 3 years worth of work for me. 10,000 gold. How's that sound?
I am grateful. Thank you very much.
Perfect. And then just because it's my gold I'm giving you, just if any reason besides dying that you tried to leave, I will eat you.
Fair enough.
Oh,
You just
cool.
kind of like the anime sweat dripping down his forehead.
And she's just smiling like innocently with sharp, more straight looking shark teeth, and her piercing white blue eyes with the dragon iris. Cool.
Thank you.
No problem, Biz. Anything else you need?
That is all. Thank you.
Cool.
Okay.
Hope you enjoy your shiny things.
I'll try to enjoy them as much as you enjoy yours.
I always enjoy shiny things as she walks away.
They'll just go back to the shop and go get that crossbow.
Wow. Where'd you get all this money? I'm sorry. I apologize for my jab earlier. You clearly have deep pockets. And she hands you the crossbow happily, taking the 1,000 gold.
All good. I told you I just didn't have it at the moment.
Eyeing the rest of the gold. So, is there anything else you'd like to buy?
Those just kind of smirks. Not at the moment. But thank you so much for your service. Have a wonderful day.
With a anime style pout. Okay. Thank you for your patronage.
He'll leave a little review, say 4.5 stars. Service was great. Slight jabs if you don't have enough gold.
Yeah. at this point, the Dragonborn, he's on all fours, kind of like an anime, just a ding, kind of slumped over, just.
I love it. It's like nice store, got good goods, but hates the poor.
This is what I expected. As you leave the shop.
Yeah. What kind of crossbow was it again?
Star Shot crossbow. It's a rare, requires attunement. It has 3 charges per day. I'm gonna say just per long rest, because a long rest in my world is basically gonna get you to the next morning.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do a good bit with it actually. You can turn invisible. You can shoot flaming arrows. You can shoot allies and heal them a little.
Oh.
And do it's kind of cool. It's a well-rounded item. I thought it'd be fun.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I am excited to use this.
Hell yeah. All right. If that is it, we're gonna move on to Zinrot. Zinrot, you come up to this pretty industrialist, not like an actual steam pipe kind of industrial look, but it's a very large smithy place. There looks to be a dwarven man working at the anvil of this forge, which is quite large. It's billowing out a great heat. It actually warms the surrounding area to a good degree. If it wasn't a more kind of chilly, nippy day, it would kind of be bothersome. But it's actually kind of nice being kind of the colder weather. I'd say at this point, given the month skip, y'all have gotten past winter enough that the snow has stopped to fall, but it's still there's still some lingering snow and ice around the areas. It's getting close to the springtime.
Hi.
Well, what can I do for you?
I'm looking to do a special commission.
Are
Okay.
you all right, dear?
I'm good. I'm good. Allergies, let me tell you. Um, I'm looking for a special commission.
Oh, and what will that be?
I'm offering to pay you for your time to make some armor for me, but I will actually give you money for your time, but also let you mine the materials from a special place, and I'll even allow you to have some of that special material for your own.
Interesting. Well, what is this armor you'd like?
I need armor for a dragon.
A dragon?
Elegant armor.
In what world would a dragon need armor?
Well, and she kind of like lets out a small cough as she just transforms in front of him and lowers two right eyes really close to him. A dragon that likes to have a little class and a little more protection.
Yeah, he's clutching his chest almost like he's having a heart attack. What in the hell?
He shifts back.
Okay, I've seen many things in my life, but that is quite a yeah.
Sorry, I guess I'm still a little brash headed with my approach of things, but direct sometimes seems like the best way. So yeah,
I guess so.
I'm looking for very elegant armor. I am more of an up close spellcaster, one would say. And
Elegant armor for a dragon, eh?
Yes.
Well, that seems like quite the undertaking. I'm not against it, but if you're looking for it to be magical, I can't provide those services.
Well, thankfully there is a magic store. They make know how to enchant, or I'll figure it out from there. But let me also show you the special material. Do you have a moment?
Well, I guess so. I always have a moment for a dragon.
You're too. I mean, playing into my ego. I appreciate it.
I would do nothing else. I would like to not die.
I won't kill you. Why would I do that? You're so nice. So she does that and she opens the portal and kind of pushes him into where the shard's at.
Wow. I would probably lose my shit at this sight, but seeing how a dragon just confronted me, it's par for the course.
Well, I'm glad your mind is capable of handling just how beautiful all of this is. It's my favorite. Anyway, not to get too sentimental, I have some kobolds here who can lead you to an area where you can mine from this meteorite that we're on. You'll get enough for my armor with a nice chunk for yourself. How does that sound?
Well, stone doesn't really make for good armor.
Oh, but there's metals in asteroids, my dear friend. All kinds of metals.
So the shard isn't technically an asteroid. As for metals, you haven't found any in it.
I was hoping he would like try to dig for some and look.
I guess you could commission him to do that.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
He's basically the kobolds are gonna basically help him mine for ore, and also kind of help shave the cavern to make it more roomy for us and whatnot.
Well, this stone is definitely from the mortal plane. I can tell it came from a local mountain, didn't it?
He looks off at this far cosmos. I mean, it's possible.
Peculiar, but above my pay grade. Anyways, I'll see if I can find some more in this mountain. Something worth making armor, but I can only deal with what I can get.
Okay, so you'll go to a mountain. Fair enough. She'll open the portal and kind of escort him out.
Yeah, I'd say just given some perusing, like you walked around the shard, and he's no like expert miner, but given his dwarven background, he really couldn't find any minerals or like outside of the emeralds, he couldn't find really any signs of metal inside the shard.
That's fine.
Yeah, there's no metals here inside the shard, inside your home, unfortunately, I must say, but I can probably put together a team to go find some metal. What specific metal are you really trying to find?
The strongest metal you can find.
Well, that would be adamantine.
And that, yes.
That's really rare to find. I'll do what I can, but you might have to head to one of the kingdom of the dwarves to find that kind of material.
How much would an expedition for you to find it for me?
Well, I could probably just head to one of my kingdoms and find some, just buy some, if you're willing to just do that.
Sure. You'll be my messenger to buy me enough, and I will pay for all of your traveling needs. Food, keepage, whatever.
Let's see. Adamantine armor. This is uncommon. How about this? 500 gold for me and my crew to go to get you some adamantine. And he pulls out it's not really like a tailor's ruler, but kind of like a ruler for trying to size up people for custom armor.
He transforms.
Into a dragon?
So he can measure.
Okay. I was just making sure if it was human or not. Um, so let's see. Dimension. You're quite large.
Why, thank
So
you.
we'll take a lot of material.
That's fine.
Are you looking for this to be like plate mail?
Yes. With
So
engraving.
Plate armor with engravings covering the whole body. You're probably looking at about 15,000 gold for the material. Then the time on top, I'll cut you about 20k.
Okay. And do you have enchanters in your cities?
Well, if you're looking to really get some fine adamantine armor, there's probably some rune crafters that can put magical effects on it, yes.
Then yes. I want you to, how about this? I'll give you 30,000. The 10,000 should cover enchanting, I think. And the one thing I definitely want on it is it's a spell called Flesh to Stone. I wish to have that applied to the armor.
Oh, interesting. Well, unfortunately, you'll probably have to go to the kingdom yourself for that. They only let certain trusted people of the dwarven kingdoms to have rune-crafted armor.
So sending you would not be good enough?
Unfortunately, not. I haven't been to my home in quite some time, and usually you have to have worked for the kingdom and gained their trust to have them make specific magical armor for you.
Interesting. Well, then I will just have to make a trip to a dwarven city then to get my armor made. I appreciate you for your time.
Oh, hold on. I can make the armor, but I just can't make it magical.
Oh, I thought they had to make the armor as well. No, that's fine then. She'll open the portal for Kobold to give 15,500.
That will do. All right, I'll set off with me and my team to go make this armor for you. It'll take us probably a handful of about a week.
Perfect. Well, you do what you need to do. You have a wonderful day.
Okay, you heard her, lads. Pack up your shit and let's move. And him and like another younger looking dwarf, his beard's not quite as long. It's more like a chin beard.
Hmm.
And then what looks to be like a human just kind of pack up on their carriage over some time before setting out.
And then I guess I'll just head to the magic store.
Sure.
She's in her human form again, of course.
And then, I mean, just to spread the kindness, Sakira and Rela, is there anything y'all want to do? I know you said no, but just double checking here. You don't have to go shopping. You can go conversate or explore or whatever.
No, Sakira would like be down in where like downstairs where the rest of the tieflings are, and she's gonna just kind of peruse around to see how everybody like takes to her presence being down there.
You're well welcomed. Most of the tieflings bow and greet you with a firm hug or handshake, and some even talk to you. Honestly, I wasn't sure we'd ever make it out of this hellhole we lived in, but it's thanks to you and your party that we are able to find a better life like this. Thank you so much for your help.
Says, please don't thank me. It's not necessarily over yet. However, again, I don't wish for your thanks, and I don't wish for your praise. I want us and our kind to just have a long and peaceful life and treated like living creatures.
They just all kind of tear up. Oh, you're just so nice. I hope that one day we can have that, but I thought it nary a foolish dream. But you're making it a reality.
Do any of you know where I came from?
Unfortunately not. We never knew of you until you came here.
She proceeds to tell them all the story on how she escaped being a prisoner for practically her entire life, and recapping up to the events up until now.
There's like an elderly tiefling, definitely like your classical grandma, but it's like a devil grandma. She's kind of hunched over. She's definitely like 4 feet tall. She kind of with her wooden and metal walker kind of shambles her way over. Oh dearie, I think I knew your mother once.
Her eyes widen. She goes, "You did? I don't have very much memory of her."
No, bless her heart, and may she rest in peace. She wasn't long for this world. Much long after you were born, she was taken. Well, back to, I guess, the hells, or wherever we go when we die. And she like pinches your cheek at this point. You look so much like her. She was captured along with some of us when we were traveling to the city, unknowingly of our fate that would happen when we came here. She was pregnant with you when she arrived. She actually came from the hells herself, unlike some of us just being born half A demon, half a human. You are actually more came from hell. As for your father, I don't know. She wouldn't say.
Sakira smiles back at the old woman and like kind of puts her hand on her cheek. Says, "Thank you so much. That means more to me than you know, because it kind of answers some questions that have been longing in my mind."
Yeah, as she talks, her sagging cheeks just kind of flop around. Not like vigorously, but just kind of like some sagging jowls.
Is there anything else you can tell me that might, I don't know, answer some more questions?
Uh, well, not much. All I know is if you're directly from hell, there's no wonder you were wanted so badly by your mother. She must really want you for some reason. Be careful, dearie. I'm sure your mother wanted you to live a happy life.
I'm sure she does. And she kind of gives the old woman just like a soft hug and says, "And don't worry, I will make sure that you have a very happy retirement."
Oh, that's sweet of you. Now, if you don't mind, I have some porridge that's getting cold.
Yes, go. Eat. Eat as much as you need.
Yeah, she
For
just kind of wobbles away.
Sakura kind of turns to the rest of the tieflings and says, "Today marks the end of our tyranny, the end of our suffering. For as long as I walk these plains, I will not allow it to happen any further. I did not fight my way out of my oppressor's hands, and sacrifice practically my soul and almost my life to do it, for any of this to continue. For together, we are strong, and together, we are wise, and together, we will bring our oppressors to their knees, and we will be free."
With this valiant speech, you've raised the morale of all the troops that are kind of within earshot to hear you, both inside and outside the house. As you just hear them all like raise their sword and shield for battle. Not like they're setting out partially just yet, but they're just you've hyped them up. And the handful that are working on the tunnel are now working more vigorously. Kind of second wind has hit them.
With that, Sakura will kind of just like take her leave.
To where?
Somewhere secluded where she can sit and write.
Okay. Yeah. And whether that be in the shard or in this new acquired house, you're able to find somewhere to sit and write. Rayla, what are you doing during this time? Are you also just hanging out during this speech, or?
Yeah, no, I'm just chilling in the basement and kind of in the corner, just observing during that whole speech.
Yeah, whether or not you meant to or meant for this or not, a bunch of like tiefling children have just decided to play with you, uh, whether you wanted it or not. Some of them are like, "Wow, you're real pretty," and they're like pulling on your clothes and just playing like tic tac toe or just running around.
You know, I happily will play back with them.
Nice. Um, is at this point we'll move back to Zenrot. You enter the magic shop and you're greeted by this Aladdin kind of style looking Dragonborn. Ah, what can I do for you?
Hi, I'm looking to see what type of items you have and what type of scrolls you have.
Oh, well, we have a various amount of those. Is there any specific ones you're looking for?
What kind of spell scrolls do you have?
As for spell scrolls, let's see. We have a scroll of color spray. We have a scroll of water creation, cure wounds. Let's see. Here's one of ice knife. Minor illusion. Let's see. Those are all kind of lower common spells. Here's one for enlarge and reduce. Locate object.
Do you have your good supply in the back?
Looking for a finer assortment, are we?
If you could.
Hmm. Let's see what I can find. Looks like we have a scroll of protection as well as a teleportation scroll.
Oh. How much for each?
The scroll of protection, 3,000 gold, and then the scroll of teleportation. Now that's a fine item. I'd say that one will run you about 10,000 gold.
And with the enlargement spell?
The enlarged spell, that will probably run you about 500.
I'll take them.
Wow, you definitely have a good eye on you. So that'll be a total of 13,500 gold, please.
She'll open up her. Yeah. She'll open up her bag of holding and apply that gold to her.
Okay. And she hands you those scrolls very happily. And if you'd like to leave a review, you can feel free to.
Oh, 5 out of 5 for your warm smile.
Thank you for your patronage.
I will be back. And she'll kind of leave. Man, I'm getting good at this.
I hope so.
Then she'll head back to the group.
Like, none of you see this, but she is now just rolling in that all that gold she has acquired, or he has acquired. All right. Is there, if that's everything done for everybody, if there's anything you'd like to do, speak now or hold your peace. We will move on back to the mansion.
Good.
Alrighty. So we all come back and re-adjourn at the mansion. Sakira, you're still by yourself, whether it be within the shard or in one of the rooms. As everybody else, you kind of re-adjourn. And of course, if you'd like to come back as well at this point, Sakira, that's fine too. So, and this is Aga speaking. Now that you've done your shopping, we're kind of already prepared to lay siege. We already have surrounded the keep. But it's probably going to take another 2 days to get this tunnel built to the keep. In the time being, well, get some rest, honestly. I know, Zinrot, you're going to help with the tunnel efforts, but as for the rest of you, please get some rest, because this will be a tough battle ahead of us.
And Zinrot will do just that, but she'll only do about 200 feet's worth of work a day. She'll do 90 feet with the blast and the rest of digging.
Okay. I'd say given that some of the kobolds are helping and also some of the resistance members, they make about 100 feet just their work throughout the day. So it's about still 300 feet a day.
Perfect.
And over the course of these 2 days, It would. I'd say as about 3.5 days. About halfway through the fourth day, they break ground into what seems to be the dungeons of the keep, and word is quickly spread to the party as one of the kobolds meets back up. Everybody, we've broken in.
Zinra will go first in.
All right.
Well, Zinra will look at the group. I didn't know if we were like all waiting at that moment or not. We're like, are we ready to do this?
Yeah, what is everybody doing at this point? It's been a few days, so y'all have had plenty of time if you'd like to. For Acteza, for point, if you'd like to read a book, if you, of course, attuning to your magic items could have easily been done. So just go ahead and have that done if you'd like, um, as well as just, I mean, anything y'all'd like to do, just say now. But what, in general, what are y'all all doing when this news is spread?
Uh, Bazilk would just kind of be in like room not too far away, but kind of isolated, kind of just trying to practice his control.
I gotcha. Make
Yeah.
me a wisdom saving throw. If you were doing this over the course of those couple of days, make me 2.
Yeah. There's 1, 6. All right, 2 6s.
Yeah, you had a pretty hard time over these 2 days. You had to basically lock yourself in a room, not for you lost yourself so much you would lash out entirely, but you did shape change into your bestial form, and almost in a bloodlust kind of way had to gouge yourself on some of the raw meat that was collected in the shard,
Okay.
just kind of to satiate the feral
The
instinct
bloodlust.
as the bloodlust rose, as your feral instinct just kind of came unhinged. Not to the point you raged out. It wasn't so bad a roll that we had to worry about that, but enough that you had to keep your distance those 2
Yeah,
days.
the party members don't know what happens. It's just that I
Yeah,
wasn't
no.
around.
Nobody knows what happened, but eventually, after these 2 days, you re-adjourn in the cellar as you hear all the hustle and bustle. What
Okay.
about you, Acteza, or if you continue, Bazelt?
Oh, nope, that's it.
Okay.
Acteza would have spent the time reading through as much of the history of Oman as she possibly could, trying to see if there's any tactical advantages that the book would provide, maybe mentioning of any passageways or if there's a schematic of the inner keep or anything of that nature, um, as well as just getting a better gauge for the royal bloodline and that type of stuff.
Okay. As for, there's not exactly a blueprint per se in the book for the castle. It's not like, hey, turn left here and right here and all that. It does describe kind of the building of Amon and eventually the keep, and it gives you somewhat of an idea of how not illustrious the castle is. It is a very illustrious keep or castle. And it goes through how they had quite a large dungeon, as well as many floors for both maids and servants before you finally reach the royal, like the main floor and up where the royals would be staying. It would house easily a couple hundred people for large events of both the nobles and political parties. Um, and it goes into how when Amon was formed, their main trade was spices, jewels, as well as slaves. And it clearly touches on how slaves was a cornerstone of Amon's creation when the first king basically tried enslaved both goblins, orcs, and tieflings. In the book, it doesn't talk about any rituals about specifically look has been doing, but it does talk about how they have enslaved people. Outside of that, it goes through the long line of kings and queens that have ruled Oman. How there has been civil discourse before, nothing on this scale. How there's been war and ruin, rebirth and growth before coming towards the more modern era of Zella LaCroix as well as Thorman and the previous king, which I'm gonna just go with the name Heward. King Heward was the and that's like this is like towards the end of the book. It's not super up to date, but it's within the current past 10 years. And it says King Heward came into rule 60 years ago. In his old age, he has ruled with not an iron fist, but more a soft handed approach. He thought of abolishing the slavery at one point, but was persuaded not to firmly by his advisors as well as his sister Zella Croix. His son, however, on the other hand, vehemently defended against slavery and for the tiefling's freedom. It doesn't touch much on Zella LaCroix and her role in the kingdom, outside of saying she was the sister of the previous or the now past king, and that all she did was hold a noble place among the royalty in a noble house. You're able to finish the book. It's not a large tome, uh, so over 2 days, given that you seem to be an avid reader, you're able to put a book down easily in 2 days. And that's about the gist of what you get from it. For strategic advantages, uh, clearly it seems if there was a time to liberate the city, it seems like this was a better time because their iron fist of slavery has become more soft and they've opened their mind to maybe it isn't a good practice. And then Sakira, what are you doing during this time?
God damn it. Sakura would be finishing up a chapter in her book. Um, maybe finding a little bit to eat, and just kind of reconsuming with the rest of the party.
Okay. During this time, the words of that elderly tiefling kind of just rings in your head. You don't remember much of your mother. She passed away when you were about 5. You have some memories of how caring in her face, and you remember what she looked like and kind of how she carried herself. She was a kind woman, but outside of that, you don't really remember much. She never talked about her parents or your father. She just worked diligently to take care of you before she was eventually abused to the point of dying. When and then Rayla, what do you do during this time?
I'd say for Rela, since she was playing with the kids, previously, she's just gonna kind of pass the time by playing with those kids still, just to pass that time.
Sure. I'd say during this time, Agus does kind of talk to you some, not so much business wise, but just to kind of catch up since y'all don't see each other much. He A lot of your spy network is just all over the place and y'all don't communicate a lot to both keep your cover and to keep each other's cover. And then Zinrot, I know you were probably the first to hear the news from the Kobold when he came out. As you see the rest of the group kind of start to gather up, I know you said you were the first to go into the tunnel. Was there anything else you'd like to do before so? You're muted if you're talking.
Nah, nothing.
Stanrot.
Oh, sorry. I was distracted for a second. I apologize. What'd
No
you say?
worries. I'm just saying. So you were probably the first to hear this news of Kobold rushing out of the tunnel. The tunnel has finally reached the capital or the keep. Was there anything you'd like to do before? I know you said you would be the first to kind of lead the charge.
No, she's just been eating. She's been sleeping down there. And just really stayed in her dragon form. For the rest of that time, just getting that hole done.
All right. Agus kind of seeing that you're all gathered up. All right. You five are leading the expedition into the tunnel to fight Zella LaCroix and her whoever else you find in there. I'm gonna go lead the attack on the keep from the outside. I just wish you all the best of luck and be safe. I don't know what sinister plan she's up to in there, but one way or another, we're gonna topple this evil plot.
She can't do much when she's in my stomach. She just nods her head.
He nods back as you hear him kind of rush up the stairs. As you all kind of get yourself prepared, you just hear as you now hear a bunch of like yelling and screaming, even some sword clashing as the fighting has now started. You all begin to head your way into the tunnel, whether you have dark vision or not. There's enough light. There's some torches lit up some ways into the tunnel before you're finally able to come into the bottom of the keep, which is the dungeon area. It looks like this is the place they would keep their prisoners. And this is where we're going to end tonight's session.